Evening everyone! So I have a book review. I just finished Aunt Dimity and the King's Ransom by Nancy Atherton. And I have to say, this was an enjoyable book. But I think because of my stint with reading the It book, and I think because I'm not reading Aunt Dimity like one after the other now, that I'm kind of have lost the, what is it? That warm coziness, well, that overall really excitable, enjoyable coziness that I get from my Aunt Dimity books. But overall, this was still a actually really cozy book. They all are always cozy books. But I think, as I said, I'm not reading them one after the other, so I'm not having a continuous, like, overflowing of coziness. And definitely because of the It book, because I can't remember which book is what. I can't remember which book I read after the It book, but I didn't have a full enjoyment that I would if I hadn't have read it, because I think it's because of Stephen's weird way of writing. And I'm going to be reading another one of his books, which is Firestarter, and only because I've watched the movie that stars little Drew Barrymore as the child that is the Firestarter. But anyway, about the King's Ransom. As I said, I actually enjoyed this one more than I think I did with Widow's Curse. As I said, would have had to like have read Widow's Curse and then right after read this to fully understand how I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the Widow's Curse, but not as much as I enjoyed the one previous to Widow's Curse. Yeah, previous to Widow's Curse. Yeah. It also is sunken in more that this is set more like in the 90s, because to quote Nancy, she said once that her books are set like 10 or 20 years in the past. So what Laurie wears is a lot of clothing that my mom would have worn. She wore more of like slacks, she wore more like cotton pants, or like, you know, those like less jeans and more like this like fabric clothing and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm noticing that. I've noticed that with this book for some reason, and I don't know why I never noticed it previous to that. Like I knew it was like set back in time because the cell phone that Laurie carries is technically a flip phone. It's not a fancy phone because she doesn't do much with it. So other than, you know, the minor things of like, I'm not feeling the full coziness, I did quite enjoy this book. Yeah, I'm sorry about the way I feel, but this is the way I feel. I really need to read these intimacy books a lot closer to the previous one. Like, I need to read it one after the other to get that full good coziness. But I did enjoy this. The mysteries are always actually really great. This one, I thought there would be more to do with, did I say it here? Yeah, the inn's cook, the King's Ransom is an inn, and the cook there is an ex-con. And as far as the synopsis went, I thought there would be more to do with him. There is a bit, but the mystery more is, why is it called the King's Ransom? What does the sign mean? And all that stuff. And then it leads into like Steve, the cook, and you know, how and what his involvement is with all this stuff. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't have, again, I don't have that full coziness to it. And I'm sorry, I'm being really wishy-washy. I'm really sorry. Because I love Aunt Dimity. I love reading my Aunt Dimity books. And like, I don't know if maybe Nancy is losing her touch. I don't really want to say that because I actually follow her on Facebook and she's a really nice person, but I don't know. I want to blame it on it and the fact that I don't read them, the Nancy Atherton books, one after the other. But I love Laurie. She's always a great character. She always gets herself into sort of weird mystery. Yeah, she always gets herself into a weird mystery or a problem going on. and she also somehow gets herself into some kind of trouble, but not really bad trouble, but there's like, it's a little minor trouble. And it's really cute and sweet that what happens to her, and it's like, oh my god, oh my god, I am being over dramatic, and it's like, oh my god. But by the end, she's like, alright, I didn't need to be that over dramatic, but it's part of her character flaw, is that when something happens, she tends to get a little over dramatic, and that's where the real story happens, is like, it kind of blows out a little bit, but then everything comes into light, everything's clear, and everything's not so blown up anymore. I like the setting, and I think my favorite part really was finding out the history of the town Shepney, Shepney, and apparently the translation of it, like the sort of like the Latin or English translation of it, means Sheep Island. And there's a part in the story that involves her seeing like thousands of, like millions of sheep on this like field of grass, and it's like, as far as the eye can see, pretty much of sheep. So the reason why she's in Shepney is that there's this big storm, and yeah, because she gets stuck in an inn, and her husband gets stuck with this client of his, and technically he's a weird recluse, and you know, like, only he's allowed to be there. She can't be because the recluse doesn't know her. So she's on her way to Rye, where they were going to have this beautiful romantic weekend, because she's just overburdened and overworked, and she's lost her spark, so they were gonna go relax and all that stuff. But then, you know, the storm hits and she gets stuck in Shepney. There we go. And the whole town of Shepney and its ties to smuggling that actually really happened in England because of, I forget which king, but one of the kings put such high taxes on imports and exports so that smuggling became a thing. And then this inn is also apparently haunted, which is a cool factor. I wish we had more on that, but we got little things, which is a nice little taste. And also the inn is, you know, a bunch of buildings attached to a main building, and apparently there's tunnels in it, which were used by the smugglers, and it causes a little bit of terror. And just, this one was very cute and sweet, and not much cozy in the way, but as I said, it was cute and sweet, and a little mystery, and apparently she blows up. What really happens, actually, I said that, I'm burping for some reason, I don't know why, but she blows up and thinks that there's current day smuggling going on, and like there's drug stuff going on, and like she blows it up, and like there is an addiction happening, but technically it's not drugs. And the characters she meets they're sweet, and you know, they can be lovable, but they're not, I don't know, they're not as lovable as the ones that I've read before. Like when you're in Finch, you get so attached to the characters in Finch, because a lot of the series happens in Finch. Like all of the books happen in Finch, or like, I don't know, like a short 5-minute walk away from the village of Finch, so you get into like another town per se, or like one of these country estates. So you get attached to a lot of the main characters, and then when like she's left, it depends on the setting and all that stuff, but these characters were great. They provided information, which was, I love getting information out of characters, but I don't know, they didn't feel quite as memorable as other characters. Like even when she goes out to visit, what book was it? Buried Treasure. That was a good one. And she goes to London to talk to a guy that works in the museum there, but they do this whole tour, and they're trying to find this person that goes to this cafe somewhere in London. Like it's not actually in London, but there's a section of London that she based her Nancy based the little cafe on. And that had an impact on me more than this one and the previous one. But as I trying to say, the characters are great, they gave information, they're just great. And for some reason, Lori always has like a partner whenever she has these mysteries. And her partner was, I think, like in his 60s or something like that. Apparently he was an older man. He's a retired bishop and he's got white hair, so he was sweet. And I don't know, there was a bit more of the like the religious aspect in this. Like, I don't have a problem with religion, but I don't like it when it's kind of more brought into the focus too often. There are times when I just felt that, but it wasn't heavy, it wasn't really bad, it's just I could have done without a whole lot of it. I didn't mind when they went to the church to do certain stuff, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. But my most happy part and my most enjoyment was whenever she got to talk to Aunt Dimity, our resident ghost of the entire series. Like, I love when she talks to Aunt Dimity. Aunt Dimity is very wise, but she also can be very funny and very relaxed, even though she was like born back in like 1920s and she lived through, I don't know about the 1920s, but she lived through and like worked through the like World War II, and I think I don't know when she died, but she went through that age where like they were a bit more prim, a little prim and proper, a bit more than what we are today. And you know, like by the 70s people were kind of becoming more laid back and relaxed and stuff like that. But I love when I get to read whenever Aunt Dimity talks to Lori. It's the best part of the story. That's all I'm gonna say. So I have 7% battery, and I just gotta say this was better than Widow's Curse, but again, and I gotta read them closer together, I didn't have the full enjoyment. But I enjoyed it, and I recommend you read it, because I always want to recommend Aunt Dimity. Aunt Dimity is great, regardless of how low my cozy enjoyment was. It still was very enjoyable. Actually, Aunt Dimity always makes the enjoyment great. Even with Aunt Dimity and Lori are always the great part of the story. Everything else wrapped around it, maybe if I read them, I will be rereading these, obviously, but these are a type of books that I need to read like one after the other. So yeah, I love Aunt Dimity. A better book than Widow's Curse, but not maybe as... I need to stop saying that, because I'm gonna get disappointed with Nancy Atherton and Aunt Dimity, and I don't want that ever happening. So yeah, I need to turn you off because I need a new battery. So I'll be right back. And I'm back. So this is my next book. This is an anthology called Hot Blooded with these authors. We got 4 authors in here, and I'm reading the Kristin Fee Handbook, and it is the next book in the Dark series. So this, I should have a more enjoyableness to it. Even not as enjoyable as a full-length book, but still enjoyable, because this is a lot better. I need to stop saying that. I need to stop. I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm going to be reading Dark Hunger, and I have the back thing here. In a dark jungle, a beautiful activist liberates animals from a secret laboratory and stumbles across an unexpected prisoner. She releases the Carpathian from his bonds, only to unleash his voracious appetite on herself. Wow, I didn't think I was going to be able to pronounce that word, but I was. Thank God. And, yeah, it goes there. We got 11 chapters for this thing. And we've got a preview to literally the next actual full-length book in the Dark series. this was my book review. I recommend reading this book. Please don't mind my wishy-washiness. I would love it if I was just, you know, reading it, but I'm also distracted besides reading it, which I feel has ruined my reading enjoyment for this little while. And the fact that I need to read Aunt Diminity books one after the other, because I think, you know. And, like, I'm quite distracted right now with watching stuff. I'm also trying to, you know, edit enough videos fast enough. And also Disney is coming up, so I'm distracted all over the place. But I recommend this book. I recommend this series. Please read Aunt Diminity. It's great, especially if you want a nice little cozy book. And this is like the epitome of cozy books on a rainy day, because literally it is raining for like half of this book. Even when, like, the beginning of this book, there is a big nasty, what's it called? Extra tropical cyclone, which is like a really, really intense, crazy rainstorm with intense winds. And then it dies down to like a normal shower. And then, so this is a really great, cozy book. I recommend it. I will have more enjoyment when I reread it, because right now I'm feeling really weird. I'm also, on top of all of those things, I am tired. It is, wow, 2 minutes to 3 in the morning. And it's not the fault of me trying to read, it's me trying to make room on my external to take to Disney, so that when I vlog, I will be able to keep everything. Yes. Alright guys, I gotta get going. I am tired. I don't even know. It is, oh, it's done. Like, God, I can go to bed now, because I'm trying, as I said, I'm trying to make room on my external to take to Disney, so I'm moving stuff off of it back onto the computer. Yeah, I gotta go. I want you to read Aunt Diminity. So, if you liked my, I don't even know if you liked it. If you liked it, that is great. I would love, if you have read The King's Ransom or any Aunt Diminity books, please let me know in the comments below and tell me what's your favorite. I don't think I have a favorite. I think I just like enjoy this entire series, especially the ones that involve revolving around the village of Finch. And if you didn't, you know, just don't be nasty, because we don't need nastiness in the world, okay? And if this is the first time you're watching my videos, please hit that big red subscribe button down there behind my picture for more book reviews, hauls, let's plays, unboxing, unbagging, because I'm coming a Boba manila envelope or a plastic bag wrap thingy, vlogmas, random vlogs, random videos. I have no idea where to categorize. Alright, I'm done being a wishy-washy rambler. A tired wishy-washy rambler, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.